as I've talked about before, cameras in the 60s, 70s and 80s could be very expensive, and the brands such as Nikon and the Pentax, good brands but quite expensive. And there were a number of names of cameras which were definitely cheaper, and one of the ranges was that produced by Hanimex. I say produced, Hanimex didn't actually make cameras, but they imported and exported mainly cameras made in Hong Kong, and it was a company based in, of all places, Australia. I think it was founded by Jack Hans, and that's where the Han part comes from of the name, Hans Import and Export. Some of the projectors were really rather good, and some of the cameras were very usable. And this one I'm looking at today is a cheap small plastic camera from 1986. It's called the Hanimex 35HS. It's got a fixed focal lens of 33mm, so that's pretty right angled. Its aperture is controlled by sun, cloud and very cloudy. And that is the controls of the camera. It's a completely point and shoot camera. It has no flash, it has no batteries, so we basically load the film manually. We take, we wind on, we take, we wind on. We do actually have a hot shoe, so we can put independent flash on there. It's very light, it's ergonomic to use, but it does feel a little bit cheap. However, in use, I was actually very pleasantly surprised how well this camera actually performed. And okay, you have a fixed focus lens, so it's going to be focused mainly on about 3 meters for groups and general use. However, let's see how I got on when I actually used this camera in the field. The first photograph we see is a street scene in Wareham, Dorset, and it is taken on a very bright day, and there is no real problem with this photograph. It is moderately sharp, it's moderately clear, and this one of the church as well, although we do have a slight out of focus soft point, but it is still a usable camera. And the fact that we can vary the aperture to some extent on this camera, I suspect it's doing 125th of a second, and I think this is a probably f16, and the right angle lens means that actually most things are in focus, and I was absolutely amazed how clear this camera actually was. It had probably a plastic lens, it's a very plastic camera, as I said, 1 shutter speed, it hasn't even got a flash. However, not having any batteries, there's very little that can actually go wrong on this camera. Okay, for fine landscapes, of which this isn't one, but it's a good subject, it is lacking that detail, but it is still usable, and it's interesting because it really makes you think as a photographer. What are you seeing that you might be limited by having to use the camera on a bright day? If you are going to use it on a dull day, the results are going to be lower, but as I keep saying, it was the sharpness I was really surprised with. And going down this road, there's, in about photograph time, this one here, you see this protest sign has come out really clearly. We can read all of that basically. So, and even these sheep are quite clear. So I actually really enjoyed using this camera. It is a point and shoot. It is the sort of thing you can perhaps pick up for a couple of pounds in a charity shop. Even now, when film cameras are getting quite a price, this is still a cheap camera, but can get moderately good results. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.